Hi, this is Josh. I'm a pharmacist with pharmacisttips.com. Just to talk a little bit about switching from the medication Valsartan to the medication Losartan. Uh, Talk a little bit first why this is. There's been a recall. This is from FDA.gov website. They found high levels of NDMA in certain batches of Valsartan. It's a byproduct of manufacturing of Valsartan, and usually it's washed out, but for whatever reason, they found higher levels of impurities in certain batches of Valsartan. That's why the recall. It exceeded the acceptable levels of this, but it was still a very low level, so it didn't put anyone at a large risk of cancer. Um, I think they said if a person were to take it for several years, 1 in 8,000 people could get cancer from the level of NDMA in there. But they exceeded the acceptable levels, so they were recalled. And so that has created a shortage of Valsartan in the US, and we've been having to get folks switched to a different medication. Um, so what's the difference between Valsartan and Losartan? They're both in the same class of medications, ARB or ARBs, angiotensin receptor blockers. Basically, their effect in the body is they dilate the blood vessels is the main effect, and that in turn lowers blood pressure. The Losartan tablets are available in 25, 50, and 100, whereas Valsartan come in 40, 80, 160, and 320. Losartan may work better when it's split up twice a day. Valsartan as well, so that's something to keep in mind if you have tough to control hypertension or high blood pressure. So approximate equivalent doses, if you were on Valsartan 40, that'd put you at 25 of Losartan, Valsartan 80, 50 of Losartan, Valsartan 160, 100, and 320 there is not an equivalent dose. Now, keep in mind, these are approximate. Your doctor is going to take into account, is your blood pressure being controlled with Valsartan? Do we need to adjust the dose based on kidney function or other labs? So this may not be the dose that your doctor picks, but this is generally kind of what we see. So what if you're on that Valsartan 320? There are others in that class of medications, the ARBs. Candesartan, equivalent dose would be around 32 milligrams a day, sold under the brand name in the US, Attican, generic for Avapro or Irbesartan, would be about 300 a day to equal that 320 of Valsartan. Olmesartan, the generic for Benicar in the US, would put you about 40 milligrams a day to get the equivalent to the Valsartan 320. And Telmisartan are generic for Micardis, somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 milligrams a day to get that same effect as a Valsartan 320. So when you're going to switch between the two, of course, we'd always want to monitor blood pressure and at different times throughout the day. Like we talked about previously, how the Losartan may not cover for 24 hours, and it may be beneficial to split your dose into twice a day or about every 12 hours. And potassium levels, kidney function, and maybe liver function. So when you switch, your doctor will most likely order labs in a few weeks. Check your blood pressure, and it's always good for you to check your blood pressure on a regular basis when you're on medications for blood pressure. Thanks for watching. Be sure you always talk to your healthcare provider if you have questions or concerns about your medications. I hope you did find this information useful. Remember, when you're on blood pressure medication, do yourself a favor, monitor your blood pressure. Make sure it's working. Report to your doctor and show them if there's a certain time of day your blood pressure is higher, or if it's only high when you get the bill from your doctor. Um, Thanks for I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my channel, and thanks again for watching.